So I've just delivered my opening statement, and now it's time for me to invite each of you to tell me what brings you to mediation today. It doesn't matter who starts first. The order of speaking doesn't affect the outcome of the mediation, okay? So do you have any preference as to who would like to start first?
I can go first.
Okay, good. You don't mind, Mrs. Chen? Okay. Mr. Chen, would you like to tell us a little bit more about, what brings you to mediation? What are the concerns and matters you would like to deal with today?
Yes, thank you. So Mrs. Hui and I, we live on the same floor. The problem is she's very selfish. She always burns incense, and she does it in the elevator foyer. And the smoke from the incense it just stays in the corridor, and the biggest problem is that it affects my daughter. Every time she feels the smoke, she starts coughing and tearing up. And I've asked Mrs. Hui to stop burning the incense, but she refuses. I even went to the management of the building, and they said they will try, but nothing has improved. So what I'm doing is I'm suing Mrs. Hui for $500,000 and to stop the incense burning in the common areas.
I see. Thank you for sharing with me the matters. Mr. Chen, if I may, I would like to summarize what you've told me to make sure that I've understood it correctly, okay? You mentioned that Mrs. Hui and you live on the same floor, and that you share the same elevator foyer, right? And that you're concerned about the burning of incense because of the smoke. You mentioned that the smoke has caused coughing. Your daughter will cough when she's in contact with the smoke, and there will be tears on her eyes.
Yeah, it's very bad.
And then you're concerned about her health condition. And that you try to talk to Mrs. Hui as well as the management company, and it appears that the situation is still as it's now. And that you mentioned about there's a litigation, there's
Yes.
a claim of $500,000, and that you'd like to talk about how to improve the situation.
Yes.
Right, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Mrs. Hui, would you like to tell me what your concerns about the matter?
This Mr. Chen, super annoying, always complaining, and then I don't know what happened. Everybody in my community build incense like what I do in Hong Kong, but he is always complaining to the security guard, and then the security guard knocked on my door, and then I don't really want to care about them because I burn the incense just because I want to worship to my God, and then so that God can bless my work, my family, our health, and he cannot stop me from doing this. And I'm doing it in an elevator foyer, which is a common area. I'm not burning his house, I'm burning in the common area. And how can he sue me? Like, it's totally ridiculous. $500,000. And the land tribunal have suggested us mediate this matter, so that's why I'm here.
I see. So I see that Mrs. Hui, you're upset, and you're really concerned about the litigation too, right? And you mentioned that the burning of incense, basically, you think is an usual common practice, and that the complaint has caused you stress, and that you also mentioned that the reason for you to burn the incense is related to worshiping gods, right? You feel that by worshiping the gods, that the gods will bless you and your family, especially your work and good health for your family. And you mentioned that the elevator foyer being a common area, and that the use of it is, you think that is a matter that we can talk about it today. And that you also annoyed, and then you're worried about the claim of $500,000 in the land tribunal. And this case is because of the reference by the land tribunal for you guys to come here for the mediation. All right. Is there anything to add to this?
That's a good summary. Thank you.
Thank you for for your trust. And I understand that two of you, you're neighbors, right? You come to this mediation voluntarily and understand that there's a land tribunal case. I think you would like to resolve the matter here as soon as possible, so that there will be no more stress, no more complaints, and you guys will be with your peace enjoying your property, right?
And health for my daughter.
And health, yes, health of
And I want to continue to do what I want to do.
right, use of the common area. So, so resolving the dispute as soon as possible is a common ground. Both of you would like to see that it happen, and also you would like to resolve the matter amicably, of course, so that you don't have to continue with the case in the land tribunal.
Don't want to go through
Yes,
this
very
litigation.
stressful.
Litigation, stressful, no more stress. And then I've heard that the well-being and the health of both of your your family are basically your common concern, right? You're concerned about your daughter's health, and you are concerned about your family's well-being, health, and your work. So the well-being of your company, of your family, is a common ground as well. And understand that the use of the common area, basically the proper enjoyment of the common area, is also your concern, right? So these are common ground. If you don't mind, I would like to write a common ground on the board, okay?
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. So there are some common grounds that these are the goals that we have today, that we hopefully we can resolve the matter amicably. So let's now try to create an agenda to give structure to our discussion today. Okay, from what I've heard from you today, I think both of you are concerned about the well-being of your family. Shall we talk about this? How to address the concerns of the well-being of your family?
That works for me.
Okay.
There's not much that I have to talk about, because I just worship the God and God will bless me.
Right. So it's very clear. So you are very clear that the worshiping of the God basically is important to you, and that will contribute to your family's well-being.
Yeah, that's very straightforward.
Great. Yes. Then I understand that you are also concerned about the use of the common area. I understand that you feel that being common area, you can do the things that you're doing there.
Yeah, everybody can use it, the common area.
So there's
also
health.
Very straightforward. Your daughter can be there. Your daughter doesn't want to be there, then he does not have to go through there.
How will she get out of the house?
Right. So
you can stay in the house. I mean, the common area is there, and everybody can enjoy it in the way that they want to. So I don't see any point of discussing. I mean, I'm not the only person in the building who is using it.
Yes.
In a way that we normal practice in our temple. So
yes, I understand that you feel that way about the use of the common area. And we are also concerned about the smoke being, perhaps, affecting Mr. Chan's daughter. We're going to talk about this. We are not saying that, something has to be done or not having to be done. We're going to talk about that, right? And then basically we are focusing on the needs and the well-beings of each of your family members, okay? We can talk a little bit more about that, all right? Thank you. So, and then we can and understand that there is an existing legal proceeding. So one of the agenda issue that we can talk about is the legal proceedings, right? That how to deal with the legal proceedings. Okay?
Yep, don't want to go through legal proceedings.
Yes.
Yep.
You don't want to go through it.
So that is an important agenda to discuss, how we can not go through it.
Right, how to deal with
Yes.
it. Yes. And understand that as much as possible, if we're all here, we would like to resolve it amicably.
Yes, I'm just looking for a solution.
Looking for a solution, yes, we'd like to have a solution. You see, we want to resolve the matter as soon as possible, right? So it can be an agenda item, how to deal with the legal proceedings. And I understand that there is a monetary claim, right? Monetary claim, about $500,000.
Yes.
I understand that you feel that it's
I'm not going to
something-
pay
You
half a
feel-
million. I don't know what that is.
You feel that you don't know how it came about, and you feel negative about the claim. And Mr. Chan, we can also talk about this. Yes, the financial
you.
arrangement. Thank you. So there are 4 agenda issues. I'll now write them on the board, okay? Thank you. The first agenda issue, as I've said, how to address the concerns of the well-being of family members. And the second, perhaps we can, it can be how to foster proper enjoyment of the common area,
Yes,
right?
that's what we're here for.
And then the third one, perhaps can be how to deal with the legal proceedings. Okay? Existing legal proceedings. And the fourth is what would be the appropriate financial arrangement? It can be yes, it can be no. It doesn't mean that when we write down something need to be paid. It doesn't mean that. Just that we can discuss this matter. Okay?
Okay.
So now we have 4 agenda issues. Just now, we've invited Mr. Chan to give his opening statement first. So we take turns, right? So Mrs. Hui, which agenda issue would you like to talk about first?
Financial, because I don't want to pay, and I think that is an important part that I need to address.
It is important to you, the financials. So you would like to talk about the financials first. All right. This is number 1. Mr. Chan, which one would you like to be the second item to discuss?
The use of the common area.
The use of the common area, right? How to foster proper enjoyment of the common area. Okay, the third, Mrs. Hui.
Proceedings, like I wouldn't want to go through the legal proceedings.
Right, you don't want to go through legal proceedings. We can talk about that. That one. So this was the last one.
Sure.
Okay, how to address the concerns of well-being of family members. All right. So now we can discuss these issues one by one. We are not focusing on how to deal with it, the solution first. And then let's talk about your concerns and your worries and your needs regarding each of these agenda issues first. Okay? Now, the financial arrangement. So, Mrs. Hui, can you tell me about your concerns and worries about this financial arrangement?
Well, as I said before, I mean, he is suing me and I'm not paying. I don't see the point of me paying anything in this case, and I don't know what that $500,000 come from.
Yeah. So you mentioned that basically this claim is something that it feels
Ridiculous, not justifiable.
difficult to accept this, and that you would
No,
like
I'm not going to accept this.
It's difficult for you, and then you'd like to know a little bit more as to how this figure comes about, right? So, Mr. Chen, would you like to share with us how did you calculate this figure?
Yes, I talked with some other people that are more familiar with these type of situations, and then we came to this number.
So you have talked to people who are familiar with this situation and came to this number. So do you know what are the rationales about, behind coming to this, what are there are subheadings or reasons?
Yes, the stress and the health, although health is priceless, but the health of my daughter, when it's such a damage to the quality of life. And also I have to keep the house windows closed all the time. So it's further the quality of our life, and there is also the electricity bill of the air condition we have to keep on all the time.
So you mentioned that this situation has caused you a lot of stress and the health concerns. You mentioned that health is priceless.
Yes.
For you, for your family, basically. And then you mentioned that because of this situation, there's a change of quality of life, that you have to keep the windows closed.
Yes.
And that you have to turn on the conditioners, and then because
otherwise the smoke comes in.
Oh, because you have to avoid to prevent the smoke from
Yes.
coming in.
If I open the window, somehow there's some air circulations, and the smoke keep coming into our apartment.
So basically, because of the smoke, you have to close the windows so that the smoke will not come in.
Yes.
And that you need to turn on the air conditioners. So you are concerned about this, the effect of this to the health of your family members,
Yes.
particularly your daughter.
Yeah.
So what would happen if you do not close the windows, if you keep the windows open, what will happen?
So we get the smoke just fills the house, and then my daughter, she keeps coughing, she keeps having tears, she has this allergic reaction to that smoke, and it's horrible to see her living like that.
I see. So it pains you to see your daughter coughing and tears in her eyes because of the smoke.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I can feel that it's worrying for you.
Very much.
Thank you for your sharing. Mrs. Hui, we've just heard that the smoke has caused a change of lifestyle in his household. So how do you feel about the situation here?
I still don't think that I should pay him anything. He said he talked to people, like, who are these people? Like, I don't think there's anybody credible. Like, if that's not, then the number is not justifiable.
So it appears to you that there's basically, as you mentioned, the numbers are related to stress and health, and that it appears to you that these numbers are something that's difficult for you to accept and understand. Okay. Is there anything else we can add to the financial arrangement here? All right. So can we move on to number 2, how to foster proper enjoyment of the common area? So a while ago, Mr. Chen has mentioned about the inside your flat. So can you tell us a little bit more how the use of the common area affect things inside your flat?
Yes. So as soon as Mrs. Hui lights up the incense, then it's then there is the whole area. It's quite small, and it just fills with smoke. And somehow all that smoke either goes into our apartment, or when we go out to take the elevator, then we have to go through it. And then I can see my daughter all again having tears and coughing, and sometimes we even have to go back home so she can rest again.
I see. So you mentioned that basically the area is not big, and the foyer, you share the same elevator foyer, and the smokes, when the incense are burned, then smoke will fill up the area, and it will even goes in your flat.
Yes.
And that will, you'll see tears in your daughter's eyes, and she will be coughing.
Yes.
So, Mrs. Hui, in terms of the burning of the incense in the common area, can you tell me a little bit more? How often do you burn it, or what are the particular areas that you can burn the incense?
So basically, every day we have to burn it for, it's actually a very short period of time. I think it's just a few minutes. It's just like one ceremony that we do every day. If it is in a specific festival, sometimes we just do it in the temple instead of the house. I don't see there's much of a nuisance. It's just a few minutes of burning something and it goes away very quickly. So I think he just exaggerated the whole situation by exaggerating how much how much money it cost to it. I think it's a very small matter, but it just make it to be so serious. And I'm not the only one in the whole building who is doing this. I mean, there are other neighbors who is also doing it in their elevator foyer, and I think this is quite a common thing, not only in this building, like even in Hong Kong community, that they are burning this every day in order to worship their gods. So I don't know why it's only me that got complain all the time and make it to be a court case. So that is just a few minutes of every day's time.
So, Mrs. Ho, you mentioned that basically what you need is a few minutes of the time that you burn incense is once a day. And at the moment, it seems that, am I correct to say that you burn the incense on a daily basis in the corridor, in the foyer, in the elevator foyer, but on the ceremony, during other special days, then you burn those incense in the temple? And that you mentioned that basically it's a practice, you worship God, and it's also done by other people, and that you just feel that basically the thing that concerned you is the complaint, and that the court case that's really a concern.
And $500,000.
And the claim of the amount of the claim. Can I, because as you mentioned that basically the reason for you to worship God is for the blessing, for the well-being of the family, and also for yourself, for your work. So am I correct to say that basically it's not your intention to see that the smoke will affect another family or other people's life? It's not your intention.
It's totally not my intention. I've done this for many years. And this is just this Mr. Chen who moved in here and then said that there is such a big issue. And also all other people in this worshiping community does the same thing, and they're not complaining. They have very good lives, and I mean that's why I also do it on a daily basis without stopping for a day. And I just don't know what's going on with this issue. And also the security guard knocked on my door. I mean, he can knock on other people's door as well, who is doing the same thing, but they didn't. It's because of this Mr. Chen goes to complain. So I just don't understand why it's only me who cannot do this.
Right. I understand that. I sense that you're upset about the complaint, and I also feel that for Mr. Chen, he's really basically I don't think that he wants to cause you to upset. It's just that Mr. Chen, you're concerned about how to improve the situation, the reason for the complaint.
Yeah, protect my daughter.
So that your daughter can really have an environment that will not cause the coughing, etc. So now I can see that for both of you want the well-being of your company, of your family, and that the burning of incense, as you've mentioned, you all want to be blessed by your God. You all want your family to have health and to live well, right? So the common ground here is I can understand that both of you, your action so far by the burning of incense, the intention is not to cause you, discomfort. It's just he should just need the need for her to worship God. So can you tell me a little bit more about you said that you need to burn the incense once a day. Is there a particular time that you need to burn the incense?
No, there's no particular time. So every day we just have to do it once for the ceremony. I mean, I don't set an alarm clock to do this, but usually before I go out, then I would just do it.
So the time itself can be flexible.
Yeah.
So can you, Mr. Chen, having heard that, can you tell me a little bit more about whether there's any time or any place that's sensitive to your daughter in terms of the smoke, the burn of
Yes, we
incense?
usually go out at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.,
and we come back at 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
around those times. And then weekends, it's a little bit more flexible, so we might be, more at home, or we go out in different times of the day.
So it appears that there may be possibility of adjusting the time of the burning of the incense. Is it then we can talk a little bit more about?
Yeah, I mean, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. is quite long time. I can easily do that during those hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because I think the smoke will goes away like within 30 minutes.
I can see that Mrs. Hui, she really has the intention to try to minimize the effect of the smoke. She mentioned that, when she burned the incense at a particular time, perhaps the smoke would go away when your daughter comes home. Or towards this direction, we can talk a little bit more about the options that we can have in the latest part of the discussion. Okay?
Yeah, that would be nice.
So in terms of this, how to foster proper enjoyment of the common area. Now I know that one of the possibility, maybe we can talk about how to adjust the time for burning of incense, etc. Okay. So in terms of this, any other concerns that you would like each other to know?
I think it's good
if
for me.
no, then we can move on to number 3, how to deal with the existing legal proceedings. Mr. Chen, can you tell us a little bit more about the present situation of the legal proceedings?
Yeah, so since we started the mediation, we decided to put it on hold to see if we can get to a solution with the mediation. But if we don't get it, then we will continue with the lawsuit.
So basically, you would like to, you have a goal that perhaps today hopefully we can agree and we can resolve the matter. If the matter is resolved, then there's no need to go further with the legal case, right?
Yeah, I can give it more thought with
You
new
can give it more thought.
solutions.
So far, you are self-represented, so there's no legal cost involved, right?
I'm sorry?
You represent yourself in the land tribunal proceedings.
Yes.
So there's no particular, legal cost involved.
No, it still costs me money. I have to take days off, and it's been very stressful. I don't like it at all.
No, you don't like it. It's stressful.
Well, it is you who initiated that. I'm not doing anything, and I'm just being asked. I have to take days off as well, just to do all these legal proceedings.
You would do that to protect your daughter?
No, that's just totally nonsense. Like, why do you need to do this? I mean, you do this, and then give us other people
legal proceedings
nuisance.
always,
I totally don't want to do this.
I understand that both of you would like to avoid this, and it has caused stress, and it's just annoying to have to face legal proceedings. I can understand that. So let's work together today, and hopefully we can agree on a settlement agreement, and no more proceedings. Okay, no more legal proceedings. Okay, anything else to add to the legal proceedings? If no, then we can move on to number 4, how to address the concern of well-being of family members. So basically, I think we've covered that part, right? We've covered that part.
Yes.
Basically, the concern is you would like
To protect, my daughter.
your daughter so that she will
not cough and just have good air.
have good health, that the smoke will not affect her health.
Yes.
Basically, and you mentioned.
I just want to continue to do what I do every day. I mean, if there's particular time or particular place that we can explore, that might be something that I can worship the God for your daughter, but I just need to continue to worship my God.
It's very kind, Mrs. Ho. You've
Thank
offered
you.
to worship the God so that the God will bless Mr. Chan's daughter. You guys are neighbors. Yes, it's very nice that you do have harmonious neighbor relationship, right? We're here to work towards that end, the purpose.
I hope
Now,
so.
Yes. Now, so far we have talked about these agenda issues, and I know that our goal is to resolve this today, and that we are going to address the concern over your family members' well-being, and we are going to now break into separate sessions. And in the separate sessions, I'm going to talk to each of you separately. And the things that I talk to each of you in a separate session will be confidential between you and me. I will not divulge the information to the other party. And we are going to talk about possible solutions and options. Okay, so who would like to start first?
I can go first.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Is it okay, Mrs. Hui? Okay, let's now move on to the second session.